Good morning everyone, it's Eddie from ImpelPro. Today we're going to be working on a 12V92 Detroit. On the back of the engine there is our impeller housing, our impeller lid. We'll take off the 4 bolts. We'll go ahead and start pulling the impeller out. As we start to loosen it, you'll hear a little bit of air bubbling and a little bit of water. We've already closed the sea chest valves. We'll go ahead and set the cover to the side for now. Go ahead and take out the little rubber plug in the middle, just a flathead screwdriver. We'll set that aside also. Go ahead and give everything a wipe. You can take the O-ring out now or later. We'll wait to take the O-ring out later. So as you can see up here is where the cam is. We're going to stick our impeller puller 180 apart but 90 degrees to the cam, so in 2 of the larger spaces to be able to get the arms freely in. If we tried to get the arms in here, your arms is not going to be able to bottom out before it gets tight into this small little space. So we're going to start with the threaded rod basically flush to the bottom, both of our arms extended as far as they can extend. That way we're not pinching as we're going together. Once we go ahead and start putting these in, we're going to end up winding the shaft down just a little bit to be able to hit the nub on the end of the shaft so that we line everything up to start reacting off of the impeller pump shaft. We'll go ahead and set the arms all the way in. We'll go ahead and wind the threaded rod in just till it touches. Once it touches, we'll go ahead and run the knurled knob in. As you're tightening it, you're going to start to feel the rubber work against you as the teeth are starting to set. And we'll go ahead and run that in until you can't run it in anymore. Once that portion's done, all you have to do is use a 9/16 and work off the threaded rod to react off of the impeller pump shaft. We'll go ahead and keep winding it. There'll be a point when the impeller starts to get to the end of the shaft where we'll be able to just easily remove it. So today I'm using a wrench. You can use a socket and a ratchet. The more stubborn that your impeller is, trying to stay on the shaft, the harder those teeth are going to bite into it. And as you're pulling it off, so although the wrench might take a little bit of time, the teeth that are there are going to allow it to not think that you're just removing the impeller and your tool falls off. So as we're starting to get towards the end, we'll no longer have to wind the rod in anymore, and we'll be able to just grab it by hand. So I think we're at a spot now where give it a wiggle. Our impeller's out. There's no damage to the housing. To remove the tool from the impeller once it's out, the knurled thumb screw, and just go ahead and loosen it up. The arms release, and then their successful pull. So once we have our impeller out, we'll go ahead and wipe everything clean. Get all the water out of it. Wipe the shaft. So we want to drag our hand all the way around. Make sure that nothing's gotten into it that's going to cause premature wear. The shaft too, to make sure that there's no dents or dings on it that's going to allow us to not be able to get the impeller back into it. Once we know that there's nothing on here that seems to be out of place or any ridges or scoring that's there, we can go ahead and get ready to clean this surface, take the O-ring off, clean the lid, and then start putting everything back together. Now that the impeller is removed, we did our inspection, we're going to go ahead and take the O-ring off. Go ahead and drag our pick just to get any corrosion that's in the groove. Pick up our wire brush. Go ahead and clean out our groove. Any corrosions on the face. Once you have that clean, we'll wipe it down again, and then we'll move on to doing the lid. We'll go ahead and wipe the lid down. Inspect the lid. Make sure there's nothing on here that's above the visual plane of the rest of it. We'll go ahead and use our wire brush again, just to make sure that when we put it back together that we're going to have a good seal. And get rid of any corrosion that's on there, especially on the O-ring groove. Go ahead and wipe this down too. As you can see, I have a bunch of grease on here. We'll just use a water-soluble grease. We want to make sure that we coat the whole thing so as we're starting it up, we don't have water in there right away, that we have some sort of coating on there so that we're not going to hurt or damage our impeller beforehand. So we'll go ahead and lather up the impeller. Make sure to not only to do the vane to the impeller, we'll also do the ends of it. On the one side you have a stainless plate that's inside the housing, and on the other side we have our lid. So we just want to make sure that we provide a slippery surface until we have water in there to work as a lubricant. You can also use the same grease inside the bore. We'll go ahead and do the impeller, then we'll go ahead and do the impeller shaft. That way we minimize the corrosion that's going to take place between the impeller and the shaft. Now that we have our impeller all lubed up, we'll go ahead and put it back into the impeller housing. So one of the issues as you're sliding back in can be tough. Using a rubber mallet, there's a seal underneath there, and the idea is that if you start to beat the impeller back in, that you can damage that ceramic seal. So try to just continually to wiggle it around and keep pushing it in. So now that our impeller's reinstalled, our lid's clean, the housing's clean, we'll go ahead and put a little bit of water-based lube on our O-ring, which will help keep it in so it's not going to fall out of the groove. Sometimes it seems like the O-ring's too big if you just if you keep chasing it around. We'll go ahead and make sure it's seated all the way, and then a little bit of excess water-based lube we have, we'll just right put on the flange. We'll go ahead and stick our plug back in here. Making sure it's all the way seated. So we'll go ahead and take our lid, stick it back on the same way before. As you can see where the cam sits, compared to where it's not, we want to make sure that the wear groove that is there continues to be in the same spot. So this is the top of our cam. We'll go ahead and stick this bolt up there. We'll grab the other 3 bolts. Once we get all our bolts hand tight, we'll just work in an X pattern to make sure it's tightened evenly. Once you have everything reassembled and tightened, we'll go ahead and turn the water inlet to the engine, the through-hole fitting back on.